All right, so here we have Eduarda and Isa side by side. I did a full analysis video on the Arnold top 5, so if you haven't watched that yet, I would start there because we're starting here with just the top 2 to further highlight some differences in where they went, how these placings may have landed the way they did. So Eduarda is our winner of the Arnold Classic, defeats Isa, our current Olympia Wellness, the standard champion. Okay, so very interesting time for wellness, hopefully adding a lot more variety and just differences to this division, which is going to be a great thing overall. But Eduarda has come up very quickly, kind of out of nowhere. We started covering her a long time ago on the channel, from her getting the pro card, so on and so forth, to here she is now winning the Arnold. That's a serious contender position for those out there that are thinking Isa might just have the title for years now, or Fran's going to come back and take it. I don't know, because now we're looking at Eduarda in a very big way since she has won the Arnold. So I wanted to highlight, their exact, as the judges saw it, comparisons. So these are the final comparisons. This is exactly how it laid out, and this is how you can gain further insight to where the wellness division is moving this year, 2025. So when we look at this is the wellness front post here between Isa and Eduarda. And again, you guys, sorry if I sound a little bit nasally, whatever. I'm sick, so we ain't waiting though. We got to get this done. We got to talk about wellness. I know you're all hungry for it, so let's talk about it. When we look at this right away, very similar and also some clear differences, okay? So Eduarda does tend to have a bit more shoulder development in the lineup, okay? And we've noticed that. Kind of overall, saw that Olympia a bit. Here is where it kind of hurt Isa in some ways, okay? Eduarda has a lot more muscle just on her physique overall. We can see it in the lower body. It's a bit more developed than Isa's is. And that kind of really does make it look, for Isa, that she's just too small next to Eduarda in a lot of ways, right? So you can see these two different physiques. Very similar, but a lot different. Isa kind of, I thought, was looking a little bit different in her midsection than we've seen before. So, not as much of a dramatic taper. She really kind of, like at Olympia, locked up that waist a lot. It was very dialed in. Here, it's a little bit wider, not as much of a taper. So not only does she not look like she has as much shoulder here, it also is a bit less of a dramatic taper. It can end up looking, a tad bit more rectangular. Not super ideal when you got Eduarda next to you and she's got, this extreme, really a lot more extreme look of a taper. So, overall, Eduarda just looks very lower body, much more dominant than Isa does even here. And granted, very close in these poses. But I think it has to do with the fact, Isa just looks a little bit less muscular up top. And that kind of favored her at Olympia. But I do feel like her shoulders here have kind of even come down since Olympia. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to throw back and do a comparison of Olympia physique versus Arnold for Isa. I don't know. If you want to see that video, comment that. But, that's what I'm getting from here. Very close in the front. And then we'll see these kind of things fade away, the closeness of these as we go through. So here, a quarter turn shot. Now, this tightens up because Isa, I do feel, in a lot of ways, you could go say, okay, Isa pulled this pose. This is her pose. She rocked this. Beats, Eduarda here in this. Eduarda's got, that shoulder shape. Everything's good. Tapers in, all that. Glute shape's good. Everything's there. Quads, very heavy, very dominant. Hamstrings, it's all there. Isa does tend to have just a little bit better of a conditioned look. And this is just how she always looks on the side here. You see a lot more separation. That's a really good look. And she looks very lower body dominant here with the shoulders. But again, her shoulders do kind of drop a bit in their size overall. Like they look a lot flatter in a way than Eduarda's, which neither of these are very symmetrical, meaning like neither of these athletes are looking to be like, oh, this is the wrong division. They look too symmetrical, right? And we start to see that play out in wellness sometimes, even at pro events where shoulders kind of match the glutes, match the quads, so on and so forth. We don't see that here. But again, Eduarda just has more muscle. She has it up top. She has it lower body. Her quads definitely have more size than Isa's do. So again, I think that the more muscled look was the key factor here. But again, you could go either way in this pose, in my opinion, because Isa does look, very dialed in. That's right where it should be. It's all there. Hard to say. This is where things get a lot different. Back pose, okay, is close and so separated. So where does it look close? It looks close in the upper bodies. So this is very good for both here. Very good representation of wellness criteria. A little bit of that shoulder shape tapers into the waist, and that is exactly what you want to have in wellness. Just a little bit of that shoulder shape, not over dominant delts, not over dramatic, and also not so, depleted, if you will, that it doesn't look like you have shoulders at all. You want exactly just about that amount of shoulder shape. Eduarda has just a tad more than Isa, so who knows how much that played into the placing or not, but I can tell you the placing in looking at the lower body, this is where the whole thing changes, right? This is not close, in my opinion, which is, hard to say for Isa, who always pulls off, it seems to be an improved look. I mean, sometimes though, to be honest, with Isa's look over the years, we do kind of see her Arnold look is not usually as good as her Olympia look, so I think she kind of uses the Arnold to kind of get herself in gear for the Olympia. Who knows what happens next, but Eduarda's going to give her a very good reason to work hard leading up to Olympia this year. Let's just say that. So looking at the lower bodies, everything is going to be pretty similar structure-wise. So upper glute on both athletes there. Need that roundness, that fullness that brings it through for the judges on stage. Definitely something you want to have as a wellness competitor. Overall glute density and size, both athletes are going to have that. Both athletes showcase the tie-in. That's all there. Quad sweeps, all there. Hamstrings, all there. Okay, so really structurally, conditioning-wise, very, very close. However, where Eduarda shines ahead is in the overall development. So definitely a lot more glute muscle overall, a lot more quad muscle overall, a lot more hamstring muscle overall, deeper tie-ins because of that muscle overall. Isa just came looking a little bit less muscular to this event, or she just is a little bit less muscular than Eduarda. So Eduarda gives off, kind of from this back pose, a little bit more of the Fran vibe, if you will, right? Like the Fran CLE look that we all know that it was created as a standard. Isa takes that this year, but again, that top two very close. This lower body dominance from Eduarda, this development is the difference, in my opinion, between Isa and her. And I don't feel like this is a very close pose. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Isa clearly has it? Do you think Eduarda clearly has it? To me, looking at this, based on what I know about criteria and everything else, it makes total sense that Eduarda sweeps this, and really does just lock it down with the quad sweeps, the massive glutes, the tie and everything there. Clear message for all you wellness competitors out there. More lower body muscle is going to be your key to better placings this year, 2025. Okay, because as we went down the call-outs, by the way, through the top 5 placings, we saw athletes that had more muscle up top. We saw athletes that were leaner. If we went through the whole show, we'd see a lot of that. Clear message from judges like, hey, make sure you focus on lower body. You still got what you need up top, but focus on lower body. Get that condition right. And that, again, is going to be the key. If you didn't see that video, go back, watch that one. Let's look at this final quarter turn here, because this is interesting. Quarter turns seem to be what can destroy wellness competitors, right? And I think it's because it's a little bit of a different pose. You basically have a lot more you're showing judges in this division. Bikini, for example, front and back, little transition. Fit model, the new division, front and back. Don't even want you really doing transition. In wellness, you got basically, your front pose, your quarter turn, your back pose, your quarter turn. You got 4 different opportunities for judges to really look at everything. And that can hurt a lot of competitors because you're getting more of an in-depth analysis of your physique and any weak points, any hidden zones, anything like that. So if you want to be a wellness competitor, really practice your posing. Now, this shot, I think, is taken a little bit off to the side or something of that nature because Eduarda's glutes look totally off here. But again, I think it's just this shot. I think what's really going on here is a little bit of that camera angle makes it look overpronounced. I mean, it could look like this. If this is just the sheer muscle mass she has lower body, that could be the case, and that's even more of an issue for Isa then, if that's the truth. But it does look a little off either way. I don't know, but it didn't look off in any of the other poses, so it doesn't really make sense. It's probably more a camera thing, which is something we always have to factor. But either way, I think it's a clear standout for Eduarda taking this pose as well. So, we just see better glute shape development overall, lower body, more dominance. She is vacuuming a bit harder in this pose, which can hurt you at times, but not an issue here, I guess, in this. And overall, it just really showcases well. Isa, shows her shoulders a little bit better here than she did in the other quarter turn. Lower body looks dominant, but glute kind of flattens out a little bit more, so it's a little bit more of the quad hamstring show, which is fine. But I have a hard time saying that, she beat Eduarda in really any of the poses. You could go either way right here maybe, but, looking at that again real quick, and maybe not, right? So it's one of those things where it's a very clear stamp. Eduarda came in. She really took that title. She is now the Arnold Classic champion, which is a very big contender to be able to go on to Olympia and win. So who knows what happens next. Very exciting time in wellness. I want to know what you think. Do you guys think it was a clear Isa win? You don't agree with anything I just said? Do you think Eduarda obviously is, kind of outclassing on Isa at this competition? And who do you think will win Olympia? I like to set predictions. I like to think about things. I will tell you this. In my opinion, Eduarda, I said it's from literally show one we watched her at. She's going to be a dangerous thing to Isa and Fran and anyone else in this wellness division. And I mean, her coming in here at the Arnold as new of a competitor is, if you will. Really, she did her first NPC show last season, right? So NPC Worldwide, that is. So very interesting to see how fast she's climbed the ranks. I do believe she will be the future Olympia champion. She's a major concern for both Isa and Fran. And I know that they're both going to be going to the drawing board like, oh, dang, we got to really be bringing it up. But like Isa's going to have to bring more muscle, and she knows that. She probably will, though. So either way, going to be a very exciting Olympia in the future. Want to know what you think? Comment that down below, and stay tuned for a lot more competition reviews and everything else. Coach Rye is out.